Okay, there we go. That looks right. That looks good. I think it looks decent. I'm going to go to settings though and turn down the volume because goodness gracious, did that volume get turned up? Okay, that should be good. Now we should be able to hear you and this. The mouse cursor is very cool, isn't it, Para? The whole thing is just a very interesting aesthetic. I didn't challenge Baba as U10. I broke the game. Like, I literally soft-locked the game at one point.
Well, that's impressive.
I'm a little good at that.
Was it like during a level or like in a menu
During a
or
level.
something?
During a level,
okay.
yeah. It was,
well, in theory, that's just you know, not solving the level in the correct way and getting yourself stuck on. So you basically trapped yourself, I guess.
I did. I made quite the mess. Yeah, I guess let us start a new game and let's see how this goes. Oh right, you're gonna have to explain to us how on earth we pronounce the main character's name, because
well,
we're about to get there in a second. When we see it, you get to tell us how to say it, because I remember I spent about 10 minutes in my playthrough trying to figure out how to say it.
So I never bothered looking that up. I just you know, because when I write the dialogue, it's just text. So how about I Google it very quickly so I can tell you how to pronounce the names of characters in my game.
Sure.
Actually, no, I'm just gonna YOLO it. It's fine. I'm European. Greece is in Europe, so I'm sure this is Aeschylus. Absolutely 100% correct.
Aeschylus? Aeschylus? No. Now I'm going into no. That's a Korean accent.
Do we pronounce it in English, or are we trying to pronounce it like a Greek person would?
I'm apparently trying to pronounce it like a Korean. So I'm not even in the right continent. Anyways, that's the main character's name. Pronounce it as you will.
Yes.
Aeschylus. Aeschylus?
As a game developer, I am officially declaring that there is no official pronunciation of the character's name. Therefore, you are free to say it however you wish.
Thank you. That is helpful. I'm just going to... All right. So, yes, we have the story here of Aeschylus and his wife.
Can we call him Sokobos guy or something
Sokobos
like that?
guy. We can call him Sokobos guy too.
Yeah. So there's the Sokobos dude, right? And this is his wife, Berenice. That one's easy. And he just came back. He was visiting an oracle, and right now he's informing his wife that's been, you know, really missing him, that he just can't come back because he took an oath, and you know, oaths come before wives, especially when you're in ancient Greece and Greek gods have a certain reputation, so it's better not to anger them. And so the catch of the story is that our main hero was blessed with inhuman strength, as you can see, and he used to build a temple for Zeus all by himself. So, you know, he has to say goodbye to his wife and just go and do just that. Also, one thing I should note is that if you don't enjoy games, puzzle stories and puzzle games, you can go into settings actually and just absolutely turn the story off and just play the levels and nothing else. So yeah, if you don't want to bother with the story, that's an option.
I was thinking, like, for speedrunning this game, there's a lot of story and it's a lot to skip through, because I did it when I played through it the first time. I skipped through pretty much the entire game. It took forever, so it's really nice that you can turn that off and just go pure puzzle. Also, I see 10. You put the Greek in the chat. Let's see. Aeschylus. Aeschylus. Okay.
Aeschylus. Okay.
Aeschylus. Okay. Thank you. I apparently needed to see it in Greek characters for it to make sense to my brain.
Nice. Also, he didn't really commit any crime, so he's doing this because his father has a high-standing position in their hometown, and it hasn't been too good for the town in general, and he took this oath so that the gods end up blessing their town, and yeah, things just go better for them. So, this is the very first level.
I have already massively messed up.
Yes. Well, did you know you can take back as many moves as you would, or you can just restart? Yeah.
I do. I chose to just restart because.
Yeah. No. I was trying to show off how cool my game is because it has a cool feature. But yeah, unlimited undos, so don't worry about experimenting, making mistakes, and if it's just too many steps to undo, just restart the entire level. So funnily enough, this level hasn't changed whatsoever since its first inception. This is how the level has always looked, and I don't think there's a better way to start this game than making the player assemble, statue of Zeus himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, I see. So I have a weird bug apparently where my version of the game just won't connect to Steam.
Yeah, Cell's computer doesn't like my game and will not is refusing to connect to Steam. Yeah. So this is normally working. This is working for like everyone except for Cell.
Yeah, so you will see something that's connecting to Steam, except here on this stream because my computer is being silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the same level?
Did you? I think you may have pressed retry accidentally instead of next.
Here we go. We get to do the level again.
Yeah, but actually, how about I tell you a fun fact about level design? So this level is crafted in a very specific way to teach you something very special. I mean, you already know this because you've played this level before. But basically, there's a very easy you can get yourself stuck, right? In the top right corner, there's that one piece that you basically have to move first before you start assembling the statue.
Mm-hmm.
So every time a new mechanic is introduced in the game, or when the game starts, there's a level that's basically supposed to teach you how to deal with the new thing that's introduced to you, and it's generally always easy, but at the same time you have to actually interact with the new puzzle element, and you have to be able to understand it so you can actually solve the level itself.
That indeed, yeah, that's a big trick is you get stuck. And as Aeschylus here says, Aeschylus, yeah. Building is not just about might, but the wisdom of planning ahead as well. That's very true.
Yeah, so actually a fun fact about this genre itself. So you may notice, and this will be even more true the further Cell makes it through the game, is that the levels can feel very claustrophobic. And this is a huge part of what really makes puzzles stick in this game. You basically, a huge part of the puzzle comes from restricting the movement space, which forces the player to think about where they are moving, but also where they will be moving the objects through. And sometimes there's some planning and switching things around, because sometimes a path might be stuck, might be blocked by an object that you need to push, but maybe you need to push it in a different direction. And it's also about executing things in the correct order. These first 5 levels are, well, I would say fairly simple, but they can get tricky. Because Sokobos ended up being actually targeted at somewhat more experienced players in the genre. So you can obviously still play this and finish this game if you're beginner. but you will be struggling definitely more than someone who has some experience with these kind of games.
And if you are new and you're struggling a bit, this feature is very lovely. Thank you, Tutorial, for giving us perfect timing to talk about this.
Oh, yes. Yes. The funny thing is sometimes people ask me, is the level where this feature is introduced actually possible to beat? I feel like it's impossible. And they think it's some kind of 5-head move where I make the level impossible so that people actually have to use the feature and remember it exists.
Yeah,
But no,
accessibility.
all the levels in my game are beatable.
And the little thing that I must say I love is when I undo a move, it also undoes the move counter. Thank you. Not all devs do that, and that adds up to your total count, and it always annoys me.
Oh, I actually went through a huge culture shock related to that move counter. I wonder if anyone I like cried on Discord and DMs about this is in the chat. But there's this Discord of puzzle game developers that I have discovered towards the end of last year, and I've showed them Sokobos in there, and they absolutely hated the move counter.
Oh no!
And yeah, and I went for through a huge just culture shock because this has never happened to me, and I was like, what this is my fourth game. Have I been making puzzle games wrong all this time? What is going on? And it was a very eye-opening moment for me where I realized that some people just don't like it, and it can be anything from them feeling like it's a bad game design, or someone even said that they just don't like getting graded by games, and they feel like that the move counter does that because it basically shows how good they are. So there's a feature where you can just turn that off. Actually, if you launch the game for the first time, the game will even ask you if you care about having a move counter and optimizing your moves or not. So yeah, that was a huge shock to me, but it was at the same time I'm very glad it happened because it's not good to be in an echo chamber, and it's good to know that there are people who don't like the thing you're doing, and I just made it optional. It was very easily solved. You don't like it, you can turn it off. That's it. You want to be hardcore and you want to sweat in every level and try to beat it in as little moves as possible. Go ahead, be my guest.
I'm trying to remember the solution to this one because I remember I spent a while on stream when I first played it trying to figure it out.
Make sure you get that bottom piece unlocked. If you get too far in the level and it's still down there, you will not be able to finish it.
Fun little thing. Once a piece is in place, you can actually move it around. It's not hard locked in place in a way. I have still messed up.
Well, actually, later in the game, there's a mechanic where exactly that happens. Once you put a piece in place, it gets locked, and that's it.
Can you tell that I skipped through the majority of the game?
Yes, I saw it. I watched the VOD. I watched all of it.
It was quite the thing. Oh. Okay, so if I do, this is fine. Trust me on this.
So as long as you have 3 blocks next to each other, you're fine because you can still move them around.
Oh.
If there's 4 blocks next to each other, they're stuck. So this is even if you made a mistake somewhere, this is still salvageable. You can still move things around. Also, there's a way to cheese this level. You can move a lot of parts through the top. So if you want to be extra safely, just abuse the top part and just push things down from there.
Don't mind me thinking really hard, and I can't English and play this at the same time, apparently.
It's okay. Yeah, if anyone in the chat has any questions, I'll of course keep talking about Sokobos and whatnot. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll speak while Cell's mind is busy solving ancient Greek puzzles.
Sounds good. He made you
thank you for stopping by, Fee. Thank you for lurking too. No, I don't speak Greek. I speak Czech. I speak English. I know a few phrases in Spanish, and I also speak some Finnish, but very, very little Finnish.
Oh yeah, that's a question I had for you. What are these things of water, or things of the blue thingy things?
Oh yeah, that's water. Yeah, you
water,
you
okay.
nailed it on the head. That is water. There was a review that said it's electricity, and I was just laughing because I was like, electricity in ancient Greece. Excuse me, what? Yeah.
That's a huh. That is indeed a. Also, I see I forgot to turn off a timer, so don't mind that. Oh yes, and as we were talking about, highly customizable, which is very nice.
Oh yeah. So
let's take a look at settings.
You can, sure, yeah. So there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of, I think the actually, we were speaking about accessibility earlier. There is a colorblind mode.
I just saw that. That's very cool. And a text speed.
Oh yeah, some people didn't like the text boxes. They found text boxes. What text boxes? They found them too slow. So there is a faster text speed for the text to appear, if that's what you would prefer.
There's controller support.
Oh yeah, you can play this on gamepad.
Today I learned. I didn't notice that the first time.
Oh, are you a gamepad gamer?
For something like this, I will use keyboard and mouse, but it's always cool when there is options.
Oh yeah,
it's always very cool.
You know, it's funny because this is where the customizability really comes from. So you can really customize the HUD, what you want displayed, what you don't want displayed. There's the move optimization, there's screen shake, if you want the story, if you want the tutorials, if you want to show the grid, and there's also input style. So by default it's press only, but if you would like to hold down your key, you can change that, and you can also change the input delay between reading, the key being held down.
That's very cool. Oh, game.
I can give you a fun fact, nerdy fact, why that is the case.
Sure.
So the game is made in Godot engine. If you're interested in game development, it's open source, free, and absolutely amazing for 2D games. It's the king of 2D games, making 2D games, to be honest with you. But one thing that I found with Godot, and it's not really its fault, the thing about programming, making games, is that no matter what you do, your application, program, game, whatever, will never work on all the devices. There always can be something wrong with the computer's hardware, operating system, or even some third-party program that will just mess things up. And on some Windows machines, Windows 7 machines to be specific, and some Linux machines, the game is not communicating well with the part of the system that handles keyboard inputs. And normally, I would like to have the holding down key on by default, but unfortunately on some computers that doesn't play nice. So what ends up happening is that like the player ends up like you press the key for like half a second and he like jumps across the entire room.
Oh.
And also different keyboards and machines can have different reading speed of the inputs. For someone it will be too fast, for someone it will be too slow. So that's why I have this workaround where I just allow you to customize this to prevent this from happening. So yeah, that's one of the things I have learned during my time making games. And it's the same reason why I also have the frames per second limitation. I have run into very rare cases where someone had a computer that was trying to run the game at like 2000 frames per second, and the computer like almost fried itself. So they told me, and I was like, wow, that's not good. That's weird, your computer does that. Here's an FPS limit. Set it to 60 so your computer doesn't fry.
That is indeed strange. I have the weirdest solution happening here, but I think this will work.
No, no.
No?
The bottom right pillar is stuck. You can't move it up anymore.
Oh, no, you are right. No, you are dead right about that. Okay.
Yeah. That you might not be able to move it up on purpose. Maybe that was part of the design to teach the player something.
Yeah. Or, maybe I wanted the extra challenge of, not finishing the puzzle.
I mean, finishing puzzles is for casuals.
Mm-hmm. We true gamers here. We don't do that.
No.
I know.
Real gamers skip all the levels.
Skip all the yes. Be like me. Skip every level in the book. In the book? In the game.
In the book?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
I can English apparently.
I can't blame you because let's be honest, this game has an absolutely book-worthy story of a Greek tragedy. I'm thinking how much I want to spoil the game.
I mean, if anyone from my chat who watched my stream, we got the whole story.
Yeah.
In high speed mode.
Well, in case you want to experience the story for yourself, I'll just say this. Not everything goes according to the plan, and Greek gods are not nice. Also, you're already stuck, Cell.
I know. This is not great. Oh, if I do this, hang on. It's slowly coming back to me. Maybe.
Nah, you're still stuck. You can free those pieces in the upper middle.
Oh, yeah, you are right. I can't do that, can I?
Nope.
Top pillar is a bit to the right on the right top. Okay. Oh. There we go. You know what? I think you are correct. Excellent idea. I'm more than happy to take hints from viewers because this game is a bit of a mind twister.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put that there, and then that one has to go there, and then that one will go there, so then this one goes here. Okay, that's a puzzle in. That's nice. A puzzle in? Yeah. That's a column in. I can't speak.
Right. So let's see. What else could I tell you about Sokobos? Well, I think. Yeah. Actually, I have a fun fact. So, the fun thing about Sokobos is that when I decided to make it, I actually wanted to make. Well, the inspiration for it was my other game, Dark Sheep, which I have mentioned before, which is also a block pushing puzzle game. That's about playing as a cultist, where you kidnap sheep, then you feed them, then you sacrifice them. And then absolutely nothing goes wrong when you summon an ancient god that's not exactly the nicest bloke on the block. But the games are actually like very different. So Dark Sheep is also inspired by the block pushing Sokoban genre, but they have a very different approach. So as I've mentioned before, Sokobos is about limiting the player's movement and then juggling the things between the paths you can take. It's like a pathing puzzle in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Sokobos, the Dark Sheep, does things kind of around. So usually there is sometimes some player movement limitation as well, but usually you have actually a lot of open space to move yourself as the player. But the thing about sheep is that the sheep will only move across grass. And also, congratulations on beating the level, by the way.
Well, thank you.
And you're welcome. By the the finish thought. My mind is starting to wander around 20 places at the same time. Finish the thought, Martin. So, and like the great thing about Dark Sheep is that the difference comes from the fact that the sheep are limited where they can move, and once they move on a grass, they eat it, so the grass is gone. And they can't move through that field again. And it's it's actually ends up playing very differently because of that. But also, it funnily enough makes the game much more approachable because you just have to focus on moving the sheep through specific paths rather than, you know, worrying about where you can move as a player. So like you can approach sheep from like all kind of directions. But in Sokobos that's not the case. It's very much about limiting your movement in general. Also, fun fact, this used to be level number 3, but despite of its small size, that used to be super hard for people, so I moved it to place number 5.
It is certainly a bit of a puzzler. Fun.
I'll give you a hint. Don't be afraid to use the empty spaces around you. Sometimes people get too much of a tunnel vision at like just moving the piece they want to move instead of actually making space to move the pieces.
Let's put you over there, and then you here, and then... You can go there.
Good start.
Oh, and then... Oh, apparently I did an 85 moves last time. Don't know how I did better, but... Oh, right. Now we have a new mechanic.
Yes! I mean, you will know this, Cell, because you're very smart, but... Fun fact, Greek statues used to be painted, and they looked absolutely silly. And I thought to myself, what if I turned that into a game mechanic? And so I did, and that's how this puzzle element of painting the parts was born. And yeah, like I said before, you know, the first puzzle starts very simple, so and so you can like just get grip with how the thing works.
Right, that has to move.
Yeah, this one is a bit trickier.
I remember really enjoying this one when I played it the first time. Okay, that there. That piece doesn't need to be painted, but those ones do. There's 4 pieces to be painted, 4 things of paint. That's the other fun thing. You have to be careful with your paint because it can only be used once.
Yeah. I was originally playing with the idea that like if you step into it, it will disappear as well.
Oh goodness.
But then I decided it's maybe a bit too evil, so I was like, nah, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's allow the player to walk through the paint.
Yeah, that would have been very evil, sir.
Yeah, but maybe in the next game, if I wanna use this painting thing again, maybe I will spice it up a little bit.
These aren't sheep indeed. They need to be colorful. Oh,
Indeed.
that was not the thing I wanted to do. Nope.
But yeah, so before we get to some new mechanics, I guess I could talk a bit about, well, my general game development journey. So it's actually prepare tissues because it's a very, well, it's kind of sad because of how just silly I was. But basically, just for the record, because I'm usually told I sound way younger than I am, I'm actually super old. One foot is already in the coffin. I'm 27 years old.
Super old, he says, talking to someone who's who's older than him.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, your birthday didn't come up yet, so.
This is true. So... we are technically the same age.
Exactly. We're both the same old.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to make games ever since I was 10 years old. I mean, 10 years old. It all started, just for the record, the first time I played a game, I was 4. And it was actually the expansion pack for Wolfenstein 3D, Spear of Destiny. And, you know, at first I really got into like, well, not modding games, but like making custom levels for games. I really loved that. But eventually it just started being too limiting, and I was like, okay, well, I want to make my own game. And that started happening somewhere around the age of 10. And it took me over 16 years to make my first game, actually. What ended up happening is that I always got just way too ambitious with a project. And, you know, I had no experience. And when you decide to make like open world RPG or whatever, right, with no experience, you end up running into issues as soon as you try to program a button. And I would always give up, and this just ended up happening over the span of 16 years. I would always blame the engine or something else, and I would try this engine then that engine, and it was not a huge mess. And then after 16 years, I was like, okay, well, I'm sick of not making games and just trying to make games and failing horribly. And I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna make a game. I'm gonna make a Sokobos game because that's the first thing that came into my mind, and that's how I made the sheep game I mentioned earlier, where you play as Daisy, because, you know, Daisy's my little fluffy girl, so of course I'm gonna make a game where you play as her. And yeah, it took me like 5 days. The puzzles were okay. It missed really like the important features, like any kind of settings, being able to undo moves and things like that. And then I made one more prototype, and then I made Hagrid, which was my first game, and it's very simple, I would say, not in a bad way, but it's just a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game where you have pieces on the board, and the goal of each level is to have only one piece left. And each kind of piece has different rules. So some pieces move, some are stationary, some change color. The color is important because the pieces that can move can only move on pieces of other colors. And then there's more things like that. And yeah, I released that in January last year on itch.io. And I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised I didn't stop making games after that, because it sold like just 12 copies in an entire month. And yeah, that was kind of soul crushing. And then I was like, well, what do I do about it? And I did some research, and I learned you have to be on Steam. So I got the game on Steam, released it there, and just 1 month later. And yeah, things went much better after that.
Oh, I remember this puzzle.
Nice.
Oh dear. I don't think did I solve this one? I don't know if I solved this one or not, or whether this is where I started testing the skip feature.
You did this one. You did solve this one. You got stuck in the level number 10.
The one after, and then I just, you know.
Yeah.
I did a skip % speed run of it.
Indeed. I mean, you did beat the final level though.
I did. It took me forever.
Just like half an hour. I think that's actually quite good. Yeah, so someone so Missy is surprised in chat about itch.io. So for any game developers or people who are just interested in this topic, I don't like itch.io. Not because it's bad, but like maybe like isn't. I wouldn't say I dislike it, but I have like this hate and love relationship with itch.io. So itch.io has very simple interface for, well, beginners. It has revenue split, great. But yeah, there's no discoverability on a child. That's problem number one. Problem number two, unlike Steam, it doesn't have any sort of quality control or like gateway that would like put some kind of requirements on people before their games get there. And what results in is that a child is just incredibly oversaturated. Way too many games released there, way more than on Steam every day. And itch.io is great if you already have a following. I think itch.io is great for that. And this is pretty much what I learned when I was asking myself, why did only 12 people buy my game in a single month, right? Like, I didn't expect like 1,000 sales, but I expected something bigger. I was hoping for like at least 50 or something. So yeah, and there was of course more reasons, such as turns out you have to market your game if you want people to buy it, because people will not buy your game if they don't know your game exists. I think this is like this is like the thing about being game developer, especially like indie game developer, and especially solo guy that makes everything does everything by himself like I do. There's just so many things to do. It can be very discouraging to just do them and yeah, give up. And I think a lot of people do that. Like just making the game itself is quite a struggle, but also taking care of marketing and sending emails and getting the appropriate graphics for store pages, it can be very, very taxing. And that's like that was the thing about Sokobos Hagrid, that's really how I started with making actually commercial games and putting games on Steam. But it's also like where I started with marketing. So just as a fun fact, I started promoting Hagrid like a week before it released, which is way too late. You should pretty much start as soon as possible. And yeah, it's like game development. Just the more you do it, the more you understand it, and the better you get at it. And there's also, of course, limitations what like one person can do, because they only have so many hours. And if you're making the game, and then you don't have like 8 hours to spend promoting your game every day. So if it was something I was doing full time, just promoting the game, I would be able to get much better results in. And then there's also the thing like having marketing budget, which my highest marketing budget is $25, which I've spent on Facebook ads. So that's the kind of budget I'm working with.
Huh. Sorry, not to that. That's very interesting that, some of those learnings of marketing and it needs to be done early and all that. That's very interesting. I am just trying to figure out what on earth I did to solve this the last time.
Okay, well, I'll help you out, all right? That pillar that's red, move it 2 fields up so you get more space, because you need only 3 red paints.
Oh, so I can just, okay.
Yeah, you can just eliminate those. Like, you don't need them,
Use
right?
those up.
Make space for yourself. Actually, this is already red, so you can even go and eliminate 1 more if you would like to.
Me not smart. That was not a smart move.
Okay. You can keep that one in.
This is an extremely roundabout path, but you know what? We'll get there. And then we gotta go over the pile of spaghetti, because that's what my brain thinks when I see all those. No, Cell, don't do that.
Oh.
That was nearly disastrous.
Well, good thing there's the undo button.
Very good thing. And I want to just put it back in the same spot. So we'll leave it there.
I never made a connection with spaghetti, but I totally see it.
Spaghetti. Yes. Hello, Chocolate. Yes, and I agree, Missy. I do think he's a little bit addicted to Steam game slots. Because aren't you working on another game right now?
Well, what do you mean? It's just 5th game in last 2 years. How is that an addiction? I don't think I have a problem.
Totally not a problem.
Yeah, I'm working on a new game. It's called Sokobos. It's a chess puzzle game, and it's what would happen if Sokoban and chess had a baby. It's gonna be in the June Steam Festival. And yeah, it's What should I? Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit. I don't have a store page yet. It's not public yet. I'm hoping to make the page public next week, hopefully, so that people can start learning more about the game. But basically, you know chess. Everyone knows chess, even if they haven't played chess. So you're controlling the white pieces in my game, and the black pieces is the opponent. Now, the opposing pieces normally do not act in that game, only if you give them an opportunity to capture your piece. And the goal of the game, similar to Sokobos actually, is that the enemy pieces need to be pushed in specific directions. And the way you push them is that you move into them, and you move them that's how you push them. So it's about basically pushing the opposing pieces with your own pieces. The pieces move and act in a way you would chess pieces expect to behave, while also making sure that they don't capture all of your pieces. If you're trying to picture the game compared to Sokobos, the levels are much more smaller scale. So, for example, there wouldn't be a level that's as big as this one. The biggest level would be like roughly a third of what you're seeing on the screen right now. But yeah, that's my 5th game. That's in the works right now.
Why are you going to try and push that down? Yes, logic. But we are almost solved.
Yeah. And the next level is gonna be fun. I'm gonna give you a tip as soon as you start the level.
Yes, please. Oh, I forgot. Oh, it's this thing.
Yes.
It's this puzzle.
Yes. So, you get. What you might want to do is that you might want to start on the right side of the level, so that well, first off, that's easier, and you want to start there. And what you want to do is that you want to slowly and safely make enough space in the middle. So the bench parts need to eat the red paint, and once there's enough space to move, you can actually access the left part of the level. That's I hope my tip has been somewhat useful. I know it's kind of broad.
Move you up and out of the way, so I have room to do.
Yeah. So after I released Hagrid, I was like, okay, cool. Next game. And I was like, I really liked my sheep game, but like I said before, it wasn't really a proper game, because the thing about Hagrid is that, like, it's actually, well, it's not coded well, but it has things like, setting options. It has like, it plays like games, it controls like games. But I wanted to get a bit more ambitious. Every time I go and make another game, I always want to do better. in some regard. I'm not interested in like just making the same game over and over. I always want to do something different, maybe something better, and I like to experiment with things around. So for Dark Sheep, I knew the basic premise. I knew it's gonna be a game about pushing sheep, and like I said in the original game, half of the game is spent in hell, where you kill sheep by pushing demon sheep onto them. I was like, you know what, that was really cool, but I want this to be a bigger part of the experience. And well, the way you do that is very simple. You make the player play as a cultist of a cult that's trying to, bring an ancient god to our realm, and they have to do some bad stuff.
Oh, you mean they were trying to summon Starson?
Pretty much. See, the thing is, the god in my game is actually much scarier than Starson, because you never know what he looks like. He speaks to you, he does things, but you never see him appear before your eyes. Starson is a bit like a goldfish, like sure, he has weird eyes, but he's rather adorable.
This is true.
And yeah, so the thing about Darksheep was that, first off, the game was very different because, okay, I don't know how much sense this is going to make to people, because like this is like a thing that's a bit more programmer specific, but like when you look at the level Cell is playing right now, things are actually interacting each with other. So when a player tries to move against the wall, they can't move, right? Why is that? Well, because the game checks if there's wall or not, right? If there's not a wall, the player moves. When you try to push a block, it interacts with the block and it checks if the block can move, and if the block can move, the block moves, and then the player moves as well. There's like the world has rules in which it works and operates. But the thing about Hagrid is that it's very simple. There's nothing. There's like no walls. There's just piece. I mean, there's some rules too, but the piece just moves or the piece doesn't move, and something happens when the piece moves. But in games like Sokobos, there's a combination of things that the player can try to do that you have to make sure happen accordingly as the developer. So Darksheep was actually much more advanced in the technical side of programming the game than Hagrid was. So that was one challenge. Second challenge was that Darksheep, while it has that very simple retro Commodore 64 art style to it, it is also. By the way, you're doing great in this level. You're doing really good. Wow. But so yeah. So there was also much more graphical assets, and most importantly, the game has an actual story, and it has a way that the story is told. So it was a huge step, and that's also why Darksheep took. It released like 2 months after Hagrid released on Steam, but it took half as much time to make as Hagrid, basically. Sorry, go ahead.
Don't mind me getting really confused about where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got stuck there for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe you're still fine. Yeah, you are still fine. You can still do this. And by the way, fun fact about Darksheep is that I'm curious, how familiar are you with like retro stuff like DOS, Commodore 64 and stuff like that? Is that something you dabble in?
Not at all. My knowledge of retro stuff like that comes from Game Dev Tycoon, and I call it the G64 because that's what they call it in the game. It's the Commodore, not the Commodore.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to get sued by Apple either, so I totally understand that. So the cool thing about Darksheep is that it's actually the first time I had help from a friend, so I kind of broke my I know, horrible. My solo developer rule. A friend of mine made soundtrack for the game, and um, I didn't know this can happen. But you can make music on Game Boy, and there's like a special cartridge extension that you can use to make it. So, we are in 21st century. We have all this cool technology to make music on your computer. My friend just whipped out a gamepad from God knows when, right? She went and bought these huge batteries because we don't have those normally at our home anymore, right? Because who uses batteries of that size? And and she just composed the entire soundtrack on a gamepad for the game.
That is pretty epic.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is a banger, by the way. It's amazing. And I was like, okay, well, we have a Game Boy soundtrack. Well, I can't fall behind. So Commodore 64 computers. Also, congratulations on beating the level. Great job.
That one is a little bit of a brain twister.
Well, you're gonna have it easy for a level or two.
Yes, new concept being taught.
Oh, actually, this one is kind of hard, so maybe it won't be easy.
Oh,
but the level is small, so.
Give me such hope for a second there.
I thought it's the bridges, but it's the vases.
Yeah.
I've
already messed up, haven't I?
No, you're good. I mean, I'm behind because I'm watching on the.
Oh!
Well, as I was saying, you're good.
That reminds me. Hold up. Let me fix that.
Yeah.
Allow me to fix that.
Yeah, maybe I should have told you earlier. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm a professional game developer, but not professional streamer.
There you go. You should now have it live.
Yes. Great. This is amazing. Okay. Well, you have to undo, but other than that, you'll be fine. Or, yeah, just restart.
Just restart, yeah. That one obviously goes there. That one goes there.
I have a fun fact about the vases. The vases are generally the most hated puzzle element in this game. And one of my playtesters was recording himself when he was playing the game. And I promise you, and this is true, half of the levels that are like very base intensive, he just looked at the level for 5 seconds and he skipped it. So
savage.
Yeah, that thankfully later he came and he finished most of them. But when I saw it, I was like, wait, I need you to playtest the level. Don't skip it. No, don't skip it.
Hey, 69 moves.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And one of the videos was like half hour long, and it was just like him skipping base levels and like sometimes returning to an older level, trying to beat it, and then just skipping it again. It was very funny to watch. But back to the Commodore 64 thing. So Commodore 64 computers use this sound chip called SID, SID for short, I assume. And there's a free program for making music called LMMS, very good, and it's free, and it has SID emulation. And so I basically used the same technology that actual Commodore 64 computers would use when I was making the sound effects for Dark Sheep. And the way that works is that it felt very scientific to me, because what you do is that you select like what kind of wavelength you want to be used in the sound, then you apply like special effects, and then you like mess with bunch of values. So when I was making those sounds, I had no ideas what I was doing, and I just spent like doing random stuff for like 10 hours until I made something that sounded good.
I think I'm stuck.
No, you're not. that vase in the bottom right, you push it down, and then you can push the other vase.
Oh, duh, of course.
Yeah.
There we go.
Very nice.
Don't mind me
Very
being
nice.
half awake and trying to puzzle.
Oh.
Oh goodness. I have seen clips of this one, and the fact that you're laughing evilly tells me this is gonna be really entertaining.
Oh yes.
So in the name of content, let's get busy and try and solve this.
Yes. I was actually thinking about removing one of the vases in this level so it's easier, because people really dislike this level. And then I was like, you know what? No.
Let them suffer.
I sometimes I make a level, and as I play it, I giggle to myself because I can see people raging already, and it just brings me joy.
I guess devs need to have their fun in there too somewhere.
Exactly. It's how I keep somewhat my sanity in check, by making other people insane and stealing their sanity. But actually, you know, it's really funny. Like, when I make a level, I generally, it's not always the case, but generally I feel like the level is just too easy, you know? And this was really funny with Sokobos. So generally when I playtest my game, well, not generally, all of my other games, when I playtest them, I can finish them under an hour. And you know, when you make the game and you make the levels and you test them and everything, you just know the solutions by heart. So it's like, yeah, this is easy. Yeah, this goes there, this goes here. Ah, yeah, easy. Oh, you're stuck already. You have 4 pieces next to each other in the top left corner. I just noticed. Sorry for not telling you earlier.
That's okay. We'll just restart. This is fine.
Yeah, this is fine.
This is
Sel
fine.
said while her brain is on fire.
You know, the room isn't on fire or anything.
Nope.
You know.
And so what ended up happening is that I played this the game. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And I stopped working on it I didn't stop working on it, but I didn't test the levels for a week because I was just doing other stuff related to the game. And I'm like, okay, well, everything's ready, you know, time to do like few more final playthroughs of the game just to make sure everything's fine, everything works. And I struggled so hard with my own levels. It took me 4 hours to beat the entire game. And every time I was like, I'm gonna go playtest the game again, I was just filled with dread because I was like, no, this is gonna cost me 4 more hours of my life because I forgot how to beat the puzzles again.
So it's hard not only for the players but also for the dev. Noted.
Yeah. There's levels when I was playtesting where I just dropped the F-bomb as soon as I saw the level.
That's a mood. That is a mood with this game. I adore this game. It's fantastic, but oh boy.
Well, you know how it is. Sometimes you have to make people hate you so that when they love you, they appreciate the love they feel for you. You know, if they just love you, they will not realize what they have. It's you gotta balance it out.
I see you ascribe to dictator theory. I don't know.
Well,
Brain.
if I subscribe to the dictator theory in game design, I guess. Yeah, that was quite an experience, and it's super funny because there were levels. Like my least, like the most hated level in this game is level 55 for me personally. And it's funny because I remember making that level, right? And when I was making it, I was like, this is too easy. And I just kept adding stuff into it and restricting the movement space. And I was like, this is too easy, this is too easy. And I was like, this is too easy, but you know what? there's already a lot of stuff in the level, whatever. I guess it's okay to have one late game easy level. And then I came to that level and I was like, how do I beat this? And I spent like an hour trying to beat it.
Never have too many vases? Ooh, we have someone who's a fan of the vases in chat.
Just wait for the late game levels. There is a lot of vases. I can promise you that.
I don't remember them because I just skipped through everything late game.
That is true.
Vase or vase?
Vase?
I don't know.
Well, I'm using the American English, so obviously vase.
Vasen? Yes, that works too. Nope. Nope, so that's not what we... No? That's not what we do. That's not what we do.
That's one of those things in game development you have to be careful about, especially when designing puzzles, is that, you know, when you make the puzzle, it's super easy, and sometimes you just gotta step back and experience the thing without any kind of bias. And that's a really great, like a great tip, I guess, for anything game design related. Like, sometimes if you're unsure, just take a step back, come back the other day and see what you think.
Does anyone else see the problem that's going to happen to try and solve this?
No, you're fine.
You sure?
Absolutely, yeah.
This piece here, though.
No, it's fine. You... Oh, wait. Oh, no. I see it. Oh, yeah, I see it. Oh.
Well,
I'm so sorry, Sel.
Retry. I know that was quality work on my end.
You know, like, it's kind of meta that I'm actually in this stream now, because I have sent 3 out of my 4 games to IGC, right? And I think the only person I didn't watch the game play the game fully from IGC was Colibria, because she speaks in French and I don't speak French, right? But otherwise, every single person who ever played my game from IGC, I saw the entire thing. And I just love watching them struggle with the levels. It's just so great. And it's like now the circle, you know, has closed. The full circle has come, or whatever the saying is. Now I'm not only watching you struggle with my game, but I'm also here talking and commentating on it live. So thank you for making this possible. That's great. I love it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for making a game that's very fun, but also, goodness gracious, my poor brain.
Well, I hope you're not planning on doing anything productive today.
I have many things productive to do later today.
Well, that might be a problem. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's okay. Caffeine and some good music, and it'll be all good. Now, what do I do with you? Clearly not that.
So that is, I believe you're still. Yeah, you're still fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Still
you're
solvable.
Fine. I believe you got this. You know, actually, I feel like it's funny that we're talking about IGC now, because I was actually talking about game development and like marketing back. Like, sometimes I've spoken to some developers, and this doesn't just like apply to IGC, but sometimes I meet people who have this mindset that like, oh, this streamer is too small for me to contact, or oh, this platform, you know, this review platform is too small for me to contact. But one thing I've learned about marketing and pitching your game for reviews is that it's absolutely a numbers game. Like, it's about quantity. Obviously, like having a high quality game, good looking game, good press kit, good pitch email and stuff like that helps. But just to put it into numbers, I pitched Sokobos to over, well, if I count just review sites, so not IGC, I pitched it to over 250 sites.
That's a lot.
And and it's not enough, by the way. Like I need more. But only 10 of those covered it. Now, granted, things are not in my favor because nobody knows. I mean, there's people who know me, but like, if you want to compare me to professional game studios, right? I'm nobody. Nobody knows me. My games don't have, like mainstream appeal. So yeah, there's a lot of things going against me. But despite of that, like that's still a very small percentage of coverage. And yeah, if you ever find yourself thinking, this streamer is too small for me, this YouTuber is too small for me, whatever, no, they're not. Just send your game out to them and let them cover it. Not to mention that it can be that sometimes, even if they're small, like people will find it, because if very little amount of people cover your game, if somebody actually wants to look up your game and there's like 1-2 videos about it, then they're gonna find those videos eventually. So yeah, if you're pitching something, just don't worry about how big small that person is, and just send it to them. And it works the other way around. Like don't be afraid to pitch to some of the hugest sites. Like, don't think to yourself, oh, well, I'm an indie developer and I made a small game. PC Gamer is never gonna cover me. Because, well, PC Gamer actually covered my game. I don't know why, but I'm very happy about it, and it would never happen if I didn't send them an email where I was like, hey, this is my game. Here's the Steam key. Thanks. So yeah, I guess this is a lesson I would like to pass to people if we have any game developers here.
I think we've got a few in chat. Yeah, and that's a good point. Send it out to people. And I will say, though, as a creator, research the creator. Don't. I have a horrible track record of horror game devs sending me keys to their games. I don't play horror. I just don't. And so it's a waste of a... It's not a waste of a key because I don't redeem it, but rather than just me mailing anyone, look for horror gamers if that's your thing. If you do puzzle games, send me puzzle games. I like puzzle games. But yeah, don't send me horror games because I won't play them. I am the wrong target audience.
Yeah, this is definitely a thing. Like when it comes to review outlets, there is very, very little review outlets that are very specific. Like there's, in my list, I have like one site that only covers Dutch games and nothing else. I have one site that only covers anything horror related. But generally, like review outlets, they will like cover anything. They don't care like if it's horror game, puzzle game, whatever. But when it comes to content creators, yeah, you absolutely have to check out what they do, because like they're content creators and they, well, not all, but I think a lot of content creators create content that they feel somewhat passionate about. Or also what brings in the views. So, for example, a lot of people, and like I like that content creator, I watch him sometimes. A lot of people are like, Splintercat Gaming is great. Yeah, Splintercat Gaming is great, but only if you make a game in genre he covers that his audience is interested in, which puzzle games are not his thing. So Splintercat Gaming is great, but well, unfortunately I'm in bad luck because he just doesn't do my kind of games. And yeah, you're also going to save yourself time by sending keys to to creators that actually might cover your game. So yeah, just it's not hard. Just like check like their recent 20 last videos. Just check the thumbnails and see if there's something horror related. Basically, it's not even like super time consuming.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take long. Or even if they're a Twitch streamer, check what their last played games are. Like that's, or whatever they've listed. Or some streamers, like I know I have a list of all games that I've completed on Twitch on my, in my panel section. That's a great way to check and see very quickly that I do puzzles and platformers.
Yeah, definitely. Also, since we're talking about pitching and stuff like that, yeah, I just saw you get stuck there.
Don't mind me, I'm getting so confused by this level. It's fine.
Yeah. See, this is where it picks up, right? Because like, because like we have two unique mechanics introduced. So how about we throw them together?
You evil person.
Yeah. It's.
Hello, Manoliki. Welcome here.
Yeah, welcome, Manoliki. Oh, hello, Manoliki. Yeah, it's
Oh, thank you for the follow.
This is exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, that like this is like huge part of like identity of my games, is that I have a simple premise, I have simple mechanics, and I throw them together to create something complex, interesting, and brain-meltingly hard, as you can see here.
Aha. Oh.
Aha! Big brain moment. Big brain.
Big brain. Biggest of brains. Not really. Do I want to put it there? No. You know what? We're gonna go for aesthetics and make a nice pile on the side. I don't care if that's correct or not. We're gonna go for aesthetics.
I mean, the leaderboards don't work for you, so it's okay.
But yeah, the leaderboard. I can't check the leaderboard because Steam does not like my copy of the game.
Oh, it's not even Steam. It's something in your computer.
It's something in my it's my computer doesn't like the game in Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Silly computer.
I wonder if it's gonna work in my other games.
We'll have to test that at some point.
In theory, it shouldn't, because like I use the same thing for Steam in all of my games, and I have. But computers are funny, so you never know.
Oh. There we go. Look at that beautiful pile of vases on the side.
Yes, very aesthetically pleasing.
Probably not correct, but very aesthetically exciting. So we're gonna go for it.
Well, I have a saying: if it works, it's correct.
Yeah.
That's it. That would explain also why some of my games are coded in such a horrible way. But hey, players don't care about that. If your game runs well enough, that's all they care about.
I can't do that. What do I? Oh, but I can do this.
Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You got it.
Fine.
Very nice.
Okay, solution is in sight. Vase, vase. I say it so interchangeably, 10. Side effect of being Canadian, we have a mix of both like British English and American English.
I did not even realize you said it differently. Very nice. You did it. Oh, this next level. Oh.
I don't like that he's laughing. It makes me worried.
I do believe I'm getting the hang of this. Sell in 5 seconds. I'm not getting the hang of this.
This is fine.
Yeah, is it? Just wait until you see the level.
Ah, yes, yeah. I am a Canadian. Martin is not, but yeah, there's a few Canadians kicking around the IGC.
You know, I actually have relatives in Canada.
Martin, what the heck is this puzzle?
Yes! Yes!
What on earth is this puzzle?
Okay, it's easy. You see those blue things? You have to color them yellow, and then you just move them in the middle. Easy. And also watch out for the bases.
So simple.
And make sure nothing gets stuck in the bottom, and make sure you assemble the hedges with grass when the time is right.
Yes, so obviously simple. Why did I not think of that? So easy.
You know, part of me feels like that, like, so like, you can see the pattern, right? There's 5 levels, new mechanic. For the next 5 levels, new mechanic. part of me just feels like that if you should unlock the next mechanic, you should go through like one just completely brain melting level to prove your mastery of the current elements before I introduce the next one to you.
That does not work.
Also, I won't be that very helpful here because this is a level I sometimes struggle with myself. Well, not sometimes, always. I always need few tries to beat it myself. So. Yeah. But maybe you can show that you're much smarter than me. Maybe you will convince me that I should stop giving games and making games, instead I should do content creation, and maybe you will realize you're actually a super smart programmer and you will take over Daisy games.
Probably not.
No? You could rebrand to like Maple Games.
Maple Games. Why do I feel like that's already a studio somewhere, probably in Canada?
Why don't we ask Google? Maple
good idea.
Games Studio. Well, there's Crazy Maple Studio. There's Fire Maple Games.
Oh, we got a problem there. Okay.
Well, Maple Games seems to be free, so maybe you should just buy the name and then just sell it to someone for like 1 million. Well, Maple Story is a game.
Maple Story is a game.
Did you play Maple Story, Sal?
I did not. It's...
Oh.
What kind of genre is Maple Story again? I can't remember.
It's a Korean MMORPG.
Oh.
It's like a 2D action platforming.
You just said the word that I hate, MMO.
But it's... well...
I don't like MMOs.
I mean, it's grindy, but it's not. But it's like 2D platform. I mean, it's ruined now because it's a cash shop. But when I played that game, I was like 12. So like, it's a very old game, and it was really fun.
Yeah, the only potentially redeeming word for me is the fact that it's Korean.
Oh, it's very cute. And you should at least look up the soundtrack. I don't know how the Maple Story 2 is, but Maple Story 1 has an absolutely amazing soundtrack that is just stuck with me forever.
Nope.
Maple Games is a board game publisher. Whoa!
Oh, well, today we learned.
Yes. See, when you play puzzle games, you become smarter.
Uh-huh. Sure. Okay, that one's in place finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the rest is still wrong color.
Yes, I know. I'm working on it. We're getting there. One piece at a time.
Oh, there's a fun fact. I have 2 games that begin with dark in their name. I already spoke about the Dark Sheep game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a game called Dark Crypt.
Oh, yes.
It was originally supposed to be called Dark Cells, as in, dungeon, keep, whatever. But it sounded too much like Dead Cells. And I was like, let's not get sued by a company that actually has money, unlike me, right? So I renamed it to Dark Crypt. And it's a game that takes place in a crypt. And it's dark. So the name is also very fitting.
Very logical. I approve.
Yes. And it's definitely my most unique game, I would say. I mean, it's me, so it does have a little bit of Sokobos DNA in there. There are also ways that that you can push.
Jesus.
But they work very differently. So what Dark Crypt is about is that it also has story. I would say it's my best story. I can confirm this because I'm biased, but a lot of reviews mention that they really like the writing in the game. So if you like good writing in games, I guess check out my game because apparently it's good. Yeah, even feels like it's like a small masterpiece. Thank you, Fee. But in that game, you play as a priest that has heard of a prophecy that speaks of... Stop me if you've heard this one before, when I was talking about Dark Sheep, of ancient evil that is going to consume our world. Now he talks about it in the monastery with his brothers about it, and they're like, haha, it's just a pagan heresy, come on, we're Christians, don't be silly. And he's like, nah, I don't believe this, like, the prophecy must be right, because this video game needs a plot, and it needs to happen, so I believe the prophecy.
great reasoning.
Yes. And so he enters this ancient crypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he finds out that the Volking are awake and haunting the halls. And so the game is a stealth puzzle game. So the basic premise is that you just traverse through the dungeon, and you open locked doors, you open gates, you avoid spike traps that will spike you if you step on them at the wrong time. It's turn-based still, and the main idea is that you have to avoid sidelines of enemies. And some enemies look up, down, left, right, or in all four directions. Some enemies look straight, some look diagonally. Some enemies just stare in the single direction. Some enemies move around. But the really cool thing is that there is a teleportation mechanic in that game. So what ends up being like a huge part of the game is that you move somewhere, you place down a teleporter there, then you go somewhere else, you do things there, and then you can teleport back. And the game becomes like this elegant dance of avoiding sightlines, spikes, and teleporting to things and doing things in right order. Because you cannot skip a turn in that game normally, because that would be OP. But when you interact with a door or a lever that opens like a gate, it counts as a turn. So it becomes like this. It's funny. It's like a puzzle game, but it's disguised as not a puzzle game, if that makes sense.
It is a puzzle game, but not a puzzle game. Gotcha.
Exactly. You know what it is? Think spooky Halloween themed Hitman Go, if you ever played that or saw that.
And go. Okay. There we go.
But yeah,
Aesthetically lining up the vases.
Very nice, very nice. Also, I believe you will finish this level. Very nice, great job. So,
my poor brain.
Well, don't worry. There's only 45 levels left.
Oh, only 45.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But yeah, that trip was quite.
Nope.
I just realized. I'm so sorry, so.
I'm not going to be able to get that up and around, am I?
No. I would suggest you undo moves until you can actually like reorganize the bottom part, because I'm worried for your sanity if you have to restart the level from scratch.
Yeah, that could get interesting. So then let's do you then.
You still need to.
Oh.
Yeah, you still need to go back further. But yeah, so Dark Crypt was very different game because, well, it's not a traditional puzzle game. It's not like you can look at this and you can be clear like, oh, it's Sokoban. But with Dark Crypt, it was like it's like its own thing. People thought it's like Crypt of the Necrodancer, because it's a 2D pixel art game that takes place in Crypt and it's turn-based. But it's based nothing like that.
Oh no, Crypt of the Necrodancer is very different from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually a huge challenge during marketing, because it's like, how do I explain to people shortly what this game is if there's nothing like it? And this is a problem I never really solved until someone told me, which happened after release, that it's like Hitman Go, but spooky. But yeah, that was a game that, like, honestly almost cost me my sanity. It was the most ambitious project that I worked on. It took the most time to make, and it wasn't easy to make it.
And we're back in the same problem again.
Yep.
So we just undo.
Yeah. I think what you should I would suggest you go as back as far as basically make sure you have enough space at the bottom. So I think both those bottom parts should be away, so you can like actually move them.
That's going to be back quite a ways.
Oh, okay, it's fine now.
Okay.
Now you can actually move those things around.
Now where to move you?
Also, it's funny that like Fee actually mentioned Dark Crypt, because Dark Crypt is where I really stepped up my game and I started supporting gamepads.
Oh.
And it only happened because of Fee, because I knew she was gonna stream the game, and I knew she's a gamepad gamer, and I was like, you know what? Let's be nice. Let's put gamepad control in my game, so she can, you know, play the game on gamepad. And it ended up taking like 24 hours of work, because gamepads are very different from keyboard. And there were many challenges when implementing gamepad into my game that I had no idea, and I had to learn as time went. And yeah, it was a very painful experience.
But valuable, because, you know, now you know how to implement that and include that in all sorts of them. All sorts of them?
Yeah. Also, all sorts of them.
All sorts of them, yes. In all sorts of them, whatever all sorts of them are.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's one thing I do with, like, you know, like, my games are, like, very similar in the nature. All of them are, like, single level puzzle games, right? So you have a level, and there's the puzzle, and you solve it. And it takes place on a single screen. So I actually reuse a lot of code from my games. So actually, also congratulations, you beat the level.
Yeah, don't mind me expecting the level solved thing to pop up when I finish the center thing, completely forgetting I had a bush on the left side that wasn't done.
So just for just as a oh, this is fine, don't worry. This is tutorial level. Now you get to build bridges.
Yay!
But just for comparison, okay? Sokobos took me, and I quote exactly, and this includes marketing too, 176 hours, 0.25. And it's not a lot, but it's because I reuse a lot of code. Like, I can look at a code and I will see parts of Hagrid's code in Sokobos. Obviously, you know, as time goes on, I change things, I improve things, but yeah, it's something that's very helpful. Oh, this level is easy, by the way. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
You say that, I'm not sure I'm convinced. Okay, there's a spot for you there.
If anyone's interested why the gamepad implementation was so difficult, so
nope.
I wonder where to start with this. There's just so much horror and so much trauma I have from implementing gamepad support. Okay, so first off, when you have a keyboard, right, you press a button, and the button is either pressed or not. Sure, it can be held down, but, you know, there's a button. But gamepads have buttons, and they have motions. So, for example, you know, those, what's the English word? Joysticks, like those round things that you, like, move.
Yep, joysticks.
That can, yeah, thank you. So, joystick is a motion. So, you check for, the game needs to know, like, is the joystick moving? Okay, in which axis is it moving in X and Y? That way it determines if it's like, you know, left, right, or combination. And also there's like how much it's moving, right? Like, this is why in certain third-person games, if you just push it very little, the character will walk slowly, and if you push it further, it will actually start running. This is how the game reads it. It basically checks like how hard you are pushing it. Now, there are assume are buttons, but no, they are motions for some reason. So imagine my surprise when I learned that something I was trying to treat as a button is not a button, but is motion, even though it looks like a button.
Oh no.
Yes. Now, Oh, this level. Oh, I told you there would be more mazes. You'll be fine. I believe in you.
Sure.
Now, this is also a problem because so when you start my game, there are default settings. So the game has some kind of default settings how it allows you to play the game, right? Well, turns out that the game engine of my choice, and I don't know if this is the case in other engines or not, allows you to map buttons that are motions also as buttons. And I didn't know this. And this was a problem when I was making gamepad rebindings. Because I check if you have conflicting bindings, right? So I check if you are using a button or a motion somewhere else. But what ended up happening is that some conflicting inputs ended up going through because, well, it can be treated by my engine both as a button and as a motion. So I needed to write like a bunch of special code to prevent this. And I basically had to test, like, for my sanity, I had to test like every single button that I suspected might be treated as a motion. I had to check if it can be also treated as a button. Yes, it was a lot of work. This might be maybe a bit too nerdy and technical, but I need to share this because I'm still traumatized by it, and I need to share my pain with you so I can feel better.
No, it's all good. This is it's all part of being a dev, and it's all interesting.
Yes, this is a programming stream now.
Yeah. This is programming stream with increasingly smooth brain player trying to play a game.
How smooth is your brain right now on from scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest?
7, because it's also warming up.
Nice. You're very close to a cool new mechanic that I hope you will. Actually, we will get more story too very soon. Just 2 more levels, including this one. So I'm gonna say something very controversial, but if there's any developers, I would recommend you listen to this. So, I told you that I'm a horrible artist at the start of the stream, and I told you that, I make very minimalistic looking games. And I mean, just look at Sokobos. But Dark Crypt is anything but that. And here's why. I used an asset pack as a base for the game. So what it means is that I took an asset pack from itch.io that had pre-made graphics, and I made a game out of it. That's why the game looks good.
I do believe we are stuck, though.
Yes.
The good thing I know where the R key is on my keyboard. I am great friends with it with this game.
Yeah, it's very useful key in all of my games. I'll be honest with you. Now the thing about using asset packs is that, like, don't feel discouraged, because I know there are some people who will shame people for doing it and will be like, oh, why does your game cost money if your graphics aren't original? But the thing is, like, it's absolutely normal in game development, even in professional one, to use assets. This can be anything from sounds to music. Like, some of the bigger, more experienced indie game developers will tell you, oh yeah, I use freesounds.org. Oh yeah, I use public domain. And it's the same with graphics. The only thing I would say you have to be wary with using asset packs for graphics is that just make sure, if it's a popular one, that your game doesn't look like all the other games made with it. Because it's funny, because sometimes I see someone on Twitter posting about their games and they're using the same asset pack as Dark Crypt, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know this. I know these graphics. That looks familiar. But there's a lot of stuff I did with the graphics. So first off, the way Dark Crypt is structured is that, like I said, you're in a crypt, you're going through a dungeon, and the game is divided into floors. So there's 6 floors, each floor has 10 levels, so there's 60 floors. So each floor has its own color scheme. So there's like brown, orange, yellow, blue, red, whatever. So that's one thing that makes it more unique. of course, I have some unique environment assets as well. But like just the great thing about using asset pack is that it gives you an art direction, and it's much easier to edit sprites and make new sprites when you have like a base you can quote unquote trace over. And some of the sprites in the Dark Crypt are made the way that I took like 3 different provided character designs and I just combined them together and made something unique. So yeah, don't be afraid about using asset packs. Just give it your own spin. Do your best with it. And hey, I'm selling Dark Crypt for $10. So if I can sell a game for $10 that's made out of asset packs, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't. Or well, couldn't either. Also, if you're stuck, you have 2 ways below those 2 things.
Right.
Yeah.
Level of stuck. Yes. I'm so fascinated by what you're saying that I am getting stuck thinking about. I'm listening to what you're saying and enjoying it, and I'm like, just move things around. La da da da.
I'm not sure. I want to believe that, but I'm kind of worried. You're so focused on level, you're not. You don't even have time to comprehend what I'm saying.
No, it was very interesting talking about asset packs and making use of existing tools rather than. Right, everything doesn't have to be original. You don't have to recreate the wheel every single time with everything you do.
Yeah. So first off, you just made me realize I'm going to die one day, and I'm saying that because we have limited time, and time is the most valuable thing we have. And I'm going to die one day, but before I die, I can make video games, and the most important thing about game development is time. Whenever you talk, I don't want to sound like an a-hole, but if you talk to a game developer that has experience and knows what he's talking about, he will tell you that you have to cut corners. Okay? Like, as minimalistic as my games are, there is always stuff I cut out. And the reason for this is that my mind. Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is that it takes a lot of time. Your willpower and motivation is limited, and most people will give up on a game sooner or later if it takes long enough. Even though before Dark Crypt I made like 2 games, I almost gave up on Dark Crypt because it was just so mentally exhausting for me and very stressful. Like, making games is not easy, it's stressful. I love it, but I also hate it, and some days I just wish I went to bed and didn't wake up because I don't want to work on my game anymore. But this is why I would recommend using assets, and why I think you should not record all original sounds for your game, because you are fighting with time, and using pre-created stuff and putting your spin on it saves you time. And honestly, this is something that's been happening forever. Some of the most famous games like Doom, what they do is that they for example, they have some textures that are like pictures of famous architectures or statues or whatever, and they turn it into a digitalized sprite. There are sounds that are shared across old games, like Heretic is an old school FPS that was made on the same engine as Doom, and I'm getting way too nerdy. But anyway, the point is, Heretic has certain sound effects. Today, I was playing Unity port of Daggerfall, another huge game from back then, made by a, not so big, but made by a professional company back then, and it uses the same sounds as the Heretic game. Like, using assets, be it graphics, sounds, I don't know what else, is absolutely normal. And I know there's some kind of I guess fetishization of purity of game development, where oh, everything has to be original, man. If you don't write your own game engine, no, that's bullcrap. Use tools at your disposal to save time, sanity, and you will actually finish game. That's why I finish games, because I help myself. Yes, that's the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, we got a question here though in the chat about would there be a way for the game to tell you when you get stuck, or the setting that's normally turned off?
In theory, yes. So, there are certain algorithms that already exist that are capable of solving Sokoban levels on their own. This could somehow be turned into checking if the level can be solved or not. It is beyond my capability, so I can't really do that. But I mean, I don't know, but with Sokobos, it would get even more complicated because Sokoba normally just has crates you push, right? But Sokobos is way more complex than that. You have parts that need to be pushed to specific places, but you also have the vases that serve as obstacles. There's also things you have to paint. As far as I know, there's nothing that would allow me to like even achieve something like this, if I even knew how to do it. There are certain scenarios where, like, in theory, I could do it. So, for example, if there's a piece that I know needs to be moved somewhere, and you get it stuck in a corner, I could say that to the player, yeah. But the reason I didn't do that is because it would be like half measure, right? There would be cases where the player will be informed that they are stuck, and there will be way more cases where the player is stuck, but he's not informed about it. So that would be bad from the design perspective, because sometimes you're telling the player, hey, you're stuck, but sometimes you're not telling them, and it's inconsistent, and that's not what you want in a game like this.
I also believe I'm stuck. Again.
Very possible. This level is very hard.
Then you know what?
Yes, you are
know
stuck.
What we're gonna do?
I see it. You're stuck.
You know what we're gonna do?
We're gonna skip it.
We're gonna show off the skip level feature.
It's Sally's not giving up. She's doing this for your sake to show you the amazing feature of Sokobos. You should all appreciate her.
You know what? I'm gonna skip this level too because I look at that and say nope.
We're gonna get the. You're just like my tester.
Story time.
Oh, do you wanna do cringy voice acting? I'll be the guy. You be the person that shows up.
Sure.
Okay. How do Greek people sound? What is Greek accent? Do you know Greek accent?
I don't know.
Okay, you know what? Let me read this like a Czech person, so it sounds European. Finally, the garden birthday of gods is now complete. Are you watching, Almighty Zeus? Oh, how I miss my family.
Aeschylus.
Berenice, where is my sandwich? I mean my beloved.
Going off script here, Martin.
Sorry. That was the original line. I forgot I changed it.
Do continue.
What are you doing here?
I couldn't take it anymore. I just had to come and see you. I know of the oath. I know you must do this alone. I will not lift a single stone nor assist you in any other way. But I want to be here with you, my one true love.
Oh, Berenice, a goddess could not make a better wife.
Oh, Aeschylus, you and your flatteries.
Tell me, how is our son, and what about my father?
Of course, let me tell you. And then, cut to black.
Yeah, we were out of story budget. Sorry, folks, that's the end of the cutscene.
End of the cutscene. Back to gameplay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, you make a decision, you gotta stick with it. It's just like real life.
I play games to escape real life. How dare you?
Not in Sokobos in level 20 to level 40. Well, I mean, there's still the undo button. You'll be fine.
How dare you? Oh, I see, and it goes a slightly different shade, too. That really reinforces that. It is, there for good. It ain't moving. Okay, and then we need to get this.
So before we get a cutscene, do you remember what I was talking about? I think I was talking about asset packs, game design, or something.
You're talking about something. I don't remember anymore.
Great, nor do I.
All I remember was something about sandwiches being in the original dialogue.
Now I'm hungry. Damn.
Same. Chat, what's your favorite kind of sandwich? We're gonna throw this to a question to chat.
I wonder if, like... Here's the problem with being Eastern European. When you say a sandwich, I imagine my European kind of sandwich that's like very different from like what people in civilized countries believe is a sandwich.
Well, tell us what defines a sandwich for you then.
Okay, so you take a toaster bread that you would normally put into toaster, but not the kind of toaster that like shoots the toast up, but the kind of toaster that has a lid that you close.
Okay.
And you put butter in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put cheese there, and ham, and something, whatever else you want, and then you put it into the toast. But no, you don't put it into the toast. If you put it into the toaster, it becomes sandwich. You don't put it into the toaster. You eat it raw, cold, and that's a sandwich. So it's toast bread with stuff you would put in a toast, but you don't toast it.
Huh.
That's what I imagine as a sandwich as a Czech person.
I'm trying to figure out how that difference.
That's the real puzzle. What kind of what's the real sandwich?
What is a real sandwich, chat? We are now having existential food thoughts.
Could I turn this into a puzzle game?
Oh. Do we have idea forming?
I'll tell you next time I take a shower, or when I go to bed, because when I get like an idea that actually could be turned into a game, when I do one of those things, it actually becomes a game idea. And if it's good, it will stick with me for like a week or two, and then I know I want to make it into a game.
I fully expect to wake up to a really random DM from you, and that's a pile of 4, saying I have a new game idea.
Didn't I just like yesterday tell you I have a new game idea?
I think you did.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized I didn't tell you something very cool. So when you were saying how you like that Sokobos wasn't originally Greek, I have a fun fact for you.
Oh.
Dark Crypt wasn't originally a horror-themed medieval sneak-based turn-based puzzle game. Dark Crypt was originally a spy thriller set in the Cold War era.
Oh.
So the idea was that you were gonna play a spy, and I guess this is because I played the game called Gunpoint. Do you know Gunpoint?
No, I don't know if I do.
Okay, well that's okay. Well, anyway, not relevant because I mean it has spies, but not relevant because it's a different kind of game. But the idea was that you're gonna play a spy and you're gonna be like sneaking through buildings, right? So you're gonna be avoiding security guards and you're gonna be avoiding laser floors and cameras. And I also have this mechanic that actually didn't make it into Dark Crypt because it didn't seem to make much sense to me. But there were also guards that were sleeping. So there would be like puzzles where like you have to open a door, the guard wakes up, you have to wait for the guard to fall back to sleep, while also like not getting spotted by the other guards. So that's some stuff that got cut out. But yeah, but yeah, it was originally Cold War era, and you know it's a Cold War, so there was a plot about nukes and stuff like that.
Of course.
And yeah, that's a given. But I just couldn't make the art style work. Specifically, I couldn't make the lightning work.
The lightning?
So, yeah, because the thing about Dark Crypt, right, is that most of the level is actually like dark, but certain things are highlighted by lightning, and also the enemy's vision line sight is displayed by like light. So like there's an enemy skeleton that has a torch, and you can see like the light coming out of the torch, and the line and the place where you can see is like bright. And so the idea I had, this is something I wanted to do because I want to indicate to the player where the enemies can actually see, right? And it makes sense, like, you know, avoid the light, stay in the dark. And so I gave the security guards or whatever, I gave them like flashlights, right? And I needed to like basically like draw light coming out of that flashlight. And there's a 2D light built-in thing into my game engine of choice, but it didn't really work with my pixel art style. And I spent 5 entire days trying all kind of things, adjusting the graphics, just trying to make it work, and it just wouldn't. And my friend, who's actually a good programmer, comes to me and he's like, hey man, why don't you just do like grid-based lighting system, and instead of casting light from the flashlight, you just make the cell in the grid just brighter. And I tried and I couldn't do it, so he actually wrote the code for me. So that was very nice of him, but it didn't fit with the art style at all. And that's why I ended up using an asset pack. He was actually the one who found it, and he showed it to me, and he made and he was like, hey, just use this, and I was like, yeah, this is great. It works with the grid-based lighting, and it's gonna look like 20 times better than if I made the game graphics by myself. And yeah, Dark Crypt is much better game thanks to that. So you never know what's gonna happen when you start making a game, I guess.
Indeed. I think I'm understanding how to do this now. Maybe.
Great, because I absolutely forgot.
Oh, good.
You'll be fine. You're like, I mean, you're on level 22 already. You're doing great. Yeah, that's like one thing I think I forgot to mention about Sokobos. I have an actual graphic designer and artist for the game.
Oh yes, I know. I've heard about that. That is very exciting.
You have some insider info. I wonder who's providing it to you.
Insider info? Can you imagine?
Yeah. I should let people pay me to get insider info.
I know, you shouldn't just freely offer it in DMs.
Yes. Let me just spam people randomly and be like, hey, do you want some Daisy Games insider info? That's $5, friend.
Yes, it'll sell like hotcakes. I can promise it, you know? We'll come up with a marketing strategy.
Yes. Oh, see, the thing is, I would actually like deliver, right? I just don't know if like random strangers would be interested in my random games.
Well, as you said, you know, got to do your research and reach out to content creators. No content creators too small.
Yeah. I'll just find some content creator that has Patreon that covers puzzle games. I'll hack their account. I'll take all the email addresses of their supporters, and I'll just spam those. It's always about the target audience, folks. You gotta target the right people.
That works. Don't mind me going and hiding my Patreon link on my stream immediately after this.
You have a Patreon? I didn't know that.
Shh, you didn't hear anything.
And you do like puzzle games.
You didn't hear anything.
Nope. Let's see before you hide it.
Oh no.
Selkoof Mind, Patreon.
Temple of
Yeah, new mechanic.
Can be traversed across once built. I have to build the floor now. Cool.
Yeah. The floor is actually, it's like a peace offering from me as a developer. Once you build it, you can actually move through it.
That's not the most reassuring. Um,
No, it's fine. It's like actually not that bad, really. It's not like I'm gonna introduce rotating parts later on, so you actually like have to rotate the parts and the floor so it actually fits. But no, don't worry.
I saw that in my great skip through of the game.
I do believe that's coming up next in like 2 levels, so that's gonna be fun.
I think our definitions of fun differ, sir.
Well, maybe fulfilling would be the better word, right? Because fulfillment sometimes is painful.
Yeah, fulfillment, that works.
Yeah, great.
How on earth? Unless do I go up there like that and then maybe? Don't mind me doing my usual thing when I see a puzzle that gets really confusing.
Sure. Generally a pro tip, start with the floor.
Yeah.
Because
that has
it's
to
like
be where you start.
It's a freebie. Well, you don't have to necessarily, but it's like just you make your things for yourself much harder than they have to be if you don't do that. Also, I have a fun fact to tell you. I have this super fan of mine, and well, he's also a friend of me now. The name, his nickname is public on the leaderboard. So it's a fellow who goes by Kokkilokki, and he is absolutely dominating the leaderboard. He has the top position in every single level in this game.
Oh boy.
He's insane, but you know, he's my friend. I like him. But he's insane. I have to be honest, one of the reasons I included the leaderboards in this game because I low-key wanted to see like what he's gonna do and if he's gonna dominate every single one, and he has not disappointed. So I'm very happy I included this feature in my game.
The Soko chest, I guess there is a bit of a chessboard here.
Yeah. The question is, are you the king or are you the pawn, Sal?
I am 100% the pawn in this scenario.
You know, actually speaking about like saving time during game development, this is like I'm accidental genius. This is not something I did on purpose, but like it's so smart now that I like look at it back. So Dark Crypt and Dark Sheep, they use a parse system. So in case you don't know what that is, parse system is that the game basically tells you, hey, you beat the level, but if you want to challenge yourself, try to do it in a specific way. In case of games like Sokobos or Dark Sheep, it's beat the level in as little moves as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this has one flaw and one problem. The problem is that you want the part to be challenging, right? So you have to beat the level in as little moves as possible, but if you're not super extreme master of Sokoban, which I'm not, what will end up happening is that you will not always find the best solutions. So when my friend I mentioned a while ago ended up playing my games, sometimes he would send me a screenshot where he finished my level and it took him like 100 or 200 less steps than it took to me.
That's impressive.
I was just like, what? Wow. And I realized that the issue with parse is that they're only gonna be as good as I am good. And I make games, it's very time consuming, so I don't have as much time to play games as I would like. And I don't even have as much time to play my own games as I would like. So for Sokobos, I was like, well, I'm gonna do the parse system because that's what I was used to, right? But I also wanted to include the leaderboards. So the original idea, this was in the demo version of the game, so if you played the demo, you might remember this. But the original demo version had parse, and it had the leaderboard system. So the part it had like a star system. So there were like 3 different stars. So you would earn 1 star if you just beat the level. You would earn 2 stars if you got somewhat good amount of moves, and you would earn the free stars if you got like great amount of moves. But as the time of release was drawing near, and I started realizing how difficult this game is, I was like, I don't want to do the par system because I don't want to play all 60 levels that are super hard until I find the best possible solutions. Only for Kokiloki to like send me a DM when the game comes out and he's like, ha ha ha, you scrub, this level took me 500 less moves than it took to you, right?
Fair.
So, in an absolute genius move, I was like, you know what? Let's throw this par system away. I have the leaderboards. I'll just let the players do the par system for me, right? And it actually works absolutely great because, like I said, I'm not the best in these games, even though I make them. Yeah, it works great. There's no par system. The players keep up the competition. And it also saved me like hours of development time because I don't have to play every level for 1 hour until I find like the best way to beat it. So, yeah, that's why I say it's genius because like it's like the word content isn't right, but like I let the players like make part of the game themselves in a sense. And they are going to do much better job than I ever could because there are like way more people who are way better at these kind of games than I am.
I am just thinking about what I need to do here. I'll put you in place, and then you come with me. You can just chill there.
Yeah.
And then we need to get the top in place, I think.
Be very actually wait. Be very careful about when you assemble the top right corner because that could get you stuck actually. You also have to be careful about how you assemble the top left part because that could be a problem as well.
Yeah, the corners are going to be tricky. In fact, I think I'm fine actually to move you in. You go in place.
Nice.
You go in place. Let's build this from whatever side that is to the other side. Okay. Now you.
Wait.
You will be a problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're fine. I was waiting for a second.
Yep. I saw that and was like, oh no, and then was like, no panic. This is fine.
Yeah, this is still fine.
Totally
Yeah,
fine. Not a problem.
I believe you have this. I believe you have this, Sal.
Is it the most brilliant solution? Absolutely not. But does it work? It works.
Exactly. That's exactly how I make my games. Is this good code to write? No. Does it work? Yes. No. You gotta go the other way.
Oh, right.
Because you can't push it down. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you go there, and then we go do, and then we go meow. Running around.
I should wait. Oh, wait.
Oh, am I stuck? I might actually be stuck.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, you're stuck. But I think if you undo enough, you should be fine. You just need to keep like the middle of temple open somewhat so you can like get that to the other side. Yeah, for the back. But yeah, so is there like I like there's like a lot of stuff I could talk about, like game design or game dev in general. Is there like something specific that like you would be interested in hearing about? It can be any aspect. I don't really like mind talking about anything. I know there's like certain things people like don't wanna like disclose, but like I'm fine with like anything.
Oh, I still need to go back further. I guess why Sokoban style puzzles? I'm curious about. There's so many different kinds of puzzles. Why this type in particular?
You know, it's funny. I don't think I ever played a Sokoban puzzle game as a child, ever. Well, I did on a phone, but for a bit. But when I was growing up, I always was like, I always had a computer that was like behind technology. So by the time I got Windows 95, like I think XP Windows might have, not sure if it was out, but it was very close. By the time I got XP Windows, it was like already outdated. So I spent most of my teenage years actually just like playing Doom 2 online, and some of my best friends I have to this day are from that era that I met playing that game online. But yeah, I was like super retro gamer basically, PC retro gamer. I never had console either, but I played a lot of old games, and I don't think I ever played it, but I saw like very old school Sokoban game for MS-DOS. And it like just really stuck in my mind because it was using these old school graphics. I don't know if you ever saw this, but like there was like this four color palette that's like bright cyan, pink, black, and white.
Yep, seen that.
And yeah, and for me like that's like, well, it's very nostalgic, but it's also like it's like very very memorable. And I don't know why, but when I think about puzzle games, I just think about that Sokoban game with this kind of look, and I just see the worker guy just pushing the crates. I don't know, it's just something about my brain being weird. Also, we have a problem, Houston. No, we don't have a problem. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
A little bit.
You're fine.
Yeah, that's. I know.
I'm sorry for scaring you. You're fine.
No, I see the problem, and I might create a new problem now. But you know, we're gonna. Nope, we'll be fine.
And yeah, so what ended up happening, right, is that I told you I wanted to make a game, and it took me like 16 years to make a single game because I was always getting just too freaking ambitious. And I was like, I'm sick of this. I just want to make a game. I finally want to make a game after 16 years, at least one game, right? So I was like, let's just make something super simple, super small, and Sokoban just came into my mind. And I was like, yeah, let's make a Sokoban game, but let's not make just a Sokoban game. Let's make something a bit different. And it's a formula that, first of like, congratulations on beating the level. This one's gonna be tricky. But the Sokoban formula is like incredibly simple. Right? It's like you have walls, you have floor you can walk on, and you have crates, and the crates need to go somewhere. And that was fine in 1982, but by today's standards, it's too simple. But it's like such a good, simple premise, and it's very easy to expand on it and do more things with it, right? So Sokobos is exactly that. It's like replace the crates with Greek things, structures, right? Okay, what's next? Well, they just can't go anywhere. They have to go to specific place. Okay. Well, also, they work differently, right? So you have pieces that can be moved after you assemble them. You have pieces that cannot be moved after you assemble them. You have floor that you can walk over. You have bridges. Like I already have like 2 more ideas for Sokoban games that also do something different. I guess I really like it because in a sense it's familiar, but also like it's adventurous in a sense because like there's like so many possibilities I can still do with Sokoban games. Like there's so many cool things I can go and try to do, and it's also fun to make. I like it. So I guess that's the why.
You get to play with a familiar concept.
Yeah.
But you get to put your own spin on it in a way.
Yeah. and it's like simple enough that it's approachable, right? Like if I were to make like open world RPG, like it's like, okay, well, talk to you in a month when I have like an alpha version, I guess. But with Sokoban, it's like, yeah, give me a day and I'll have the basic thing ready, and then I just play with it and I experiment.
Nope, Self, don't do that. Okay, and now to get these
nice.
in the correct
Although
order.
one thing I would like to do is that so like, I mean, we spoke about this, but and I think some of the viewers might know, but like in case some aren't familiar. So one of the things I'm like currently trying to do is that like I'm trying to turn game development into a stable business. So and one of the things that I would actually like to do next year is that I would like to branch outside of the puzzle genre.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be exciting for me too. I actually have a action platformer in works right now.
Ooh, a
But
platformer.
but the progress on it has been a bit slow because well, so Sokobos released on April 1st, right? And I knew June Festival was coming, but the registration for the June Festival was much sooner than I expected. So Sokobos released, I got to brief for like a day or two, and then I was like, oh crap, I need to get another game ready. Time to make another puzzle game!
So just straight back into the fire.
Yep. And the thing about like making a platformer game is that like it's absolutely uncharted territory for me, right? So like if you tell me, hey, go make a puzzle game that's different from the games you're making, it's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I've made puzzle games before. I know enough about like how to do these things. But with platformer, you know, it's very different. There's physics and stuff like that. It's like a brave new world for me, basically. But I do hope to make more progress on it this year because it's fun and well, you know me, it's a retro minimalistic action platformer in a sense.
Interesting.
Because this is Daisy games, and if my game isn't retro or minimalistic, then what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I guess for I know from the content creator side, it's quite important to have, or it's very helpful at least to have sort of a stable, consistent branding. Is that sort of the same case for devs as well?
Oh. I can't tell you because I frankly first I don't know. I've like I've listened to people who are much smarter and much more successful, like actually have made stable business out of game development. Talk about this topic and like it's more of a case like, hey, if you can make it work, good for you. I guess.
Gotcha.
In my case, like if you ask me like why do you have so many retro games or why do you have so many minimalistic games, right? In my case, it's like, well, because I'm a single guy and I need to be able to finish my games. Even like some of the more veteran people, like I've told you about Jake Burkett, right? Who's like a veteran indie developer who's been making indie games for like over 15 years now. Like even though he's pro, he still cuts corners because that's like it just comes with the business, right? You get a bunch of ideas, then you realize like what's reasonable, what you can actually do, and also, you know, maybe some of your ideas don't actually enrich the game. Maybe they make it work because it doesn't really fit into your game. There's all kind of reasons to like cut things out of your game. But for me, that minimalism, you know, like I said, I'm a horrible artist, but what helps me like find like an artistic direction to approach and like keep consistency is very strict limitations. And that just kind of goes hand in hand with minimalism and retro games, right? Because, well, retro games for technical reasons, were very limited, be it in sound, their graphics. And, if I have 8 colors that I can use for the entire game, I'm gonna have much more easier time making art than if I have 128 colors.
That is very fair.
And and with the limitation, and so like if I want to do something, like I work very great with limitations in general. It's just kind of my jam. It's how I work. But also like the limitation just naturally, like I said, goes hand in hand with retro or even minimalistic games. Now, Sokobos, the new game, is gonna be minimalistic as well, because while I do have an actual artist on the job, it's my first time like actually like leading a person, and I have a lot to learn in that department. So I wanted to do something still minimalistic and like simple in a sense, because I now have to like learn how to basically like order someone around and work with them, and because like right now it's me, so in my head I know exactly what I want, how it should look, and like if I mess something up, like I just go and fix it, right? But now I actually have like person who's expending their time and energy on making something for me, so that's like another skill set to pick up.
Yeah, definitely there's a skill and an art to working with others and leading them and making sure communication is clear across everything.
Yeah. Like I've been in positions before where I led people, but it was like very different, and also like those people, like they knew what they were doing in their field. As in this case, like this person worked on a game before, but like as far as I know, they like never worked. They never worked on what I need. I think I would say like my needs are very different from the game they worked on. So it's like, yeah, like I can just throw terms. I think I just can't throw terms, or like I can expect them to like know things that like I know, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like there's just so much to learn. It's funny. I was listening to this podcast. Do you know New Blood Interactive?
New Blood?
Mm-hmm.
No, not familiar.
Right. So they're the guys who are pretty much behind the boomer shooter renaissance. I'm not sure if that's something you're familiar with.
Oh, boomer shooters. Okay, yep.
Yeah, okay. So they're the guys who basically brought the genre back to life. And the guy who's in charge, Dave Ashtray, cool guy, he was on this podcast. And, he was basically talking about like how he became a game producer and like a CEO of the company and stuff like that. And yeah, he spoke about like how you can like study game development or like marketing, or like he said how you can study basically anything, but like nobody will teach you like what to do if your programmer gets sad and he can work on his game for 1 week because he's just too sad. So yeah, there's and now like I see it, because now I mean my artist didn't get sad, or if she got sad, I don't know. I hope I didn't make her sad, but yeah, there's like now I see what he was talking about. Like there's like a people skill you need to develop when you work with someone on project that you lead.
Yeah, for sure. And that people part can be sometimes, I don't have experience with game dev, but sometimes that working with others can be the most challenging part of any project.
Yeah. So I'm lucky, like this person, like she's great. So I'm very blessed in this regard because I have worked on projects professionally with people that if I could I would set them on fire. But yeah, there's definitely some communication challenges, and sometimes when I explain something to them, I read what I wrote and I'm like, you can't like form a simple, like, how do you struggle explaining something so simple, Martin? But it's because like in my brain I absolutely know what I mean, but because I never had to communicate it to another human being, it's like I speak like a caveman basically.
I think that's pretty standard when we're first. Ideas often have to go through many stages to be intelligible by other individuals.
Yeah. That's why I hope Elon Musk makes cloning technology, so I can just clone myself and my clone will understand.
Ah, yes, use clone labor.
Uh-huh. I'm sure that's ethical.
Totally. There's not going to be any ethical issues with clone labor at all. We're not going to end up.
What if we brainwash them? Like,
have you not seen Blade Runner or read the original story? This is dangerous territory. So.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Also, goodness gracious, did you make this puzzle complicated?
I'll be honest with you, I don't think that level is. I'll give you a pro tip, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, and I think I do, you can assemble the benches at the very end. You can first assemble the structure itself and then do the benches.
That's what I'm thinking. And meanwhile, I'm just pushing them around randomly.
Flash clone in your memory, copy it to your clone, kill your original self, achieve teleportation in practice.
And what a weird suggestion, but then again, it is you suggesting it, so. Oh no, that's a problem.
I don't think a clone could replace the original me. I feel like some of the craziness would just get lost.
Okay, and then we go. Oh, I know it's a classic one. I'm teasing you, 10. Just for context, 10 is one of my mods, so.
Ah, okay.
Yes. I have free reign to bug him because he has free reign to bug me.
Very nice. You almost got it. Cool.
Ooh.
We're gonna get to the fun part, but don't worry, the first level is easy.
No, that's not right. So what we do is we go like this.
Wrong. Yeah. Oh wait, I had a stream on because I was watching the chat. Yeah. I need second monitor really badly.
Second monitors are helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, you do, 10. Oh no.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Oh no. No.
This one is easy, don't you worry. This is fine.
That didn't work as I had expected it to. Sure, that's not what I wanted to do, but you know that works. So let's bring you down here. I'm gonna bring you over here. Really?
So right now you're just like.
I know. I'm. You know what? I'm taking. You know, as I told you, I'm like. In some ways, Sokobos reminds me of The Witness, which you initially were like, "Hold up, what?"
Yeah.
But as we ultimately discussed and figured out, it's pathing. It's all about pathing puzzles. And so, in this case, this is a new rule. I am testing the rule.
I
have four left corner pieces. Why don't we just change the puzzle and make it 4 left corners?
Oh, I would have to go change it in the game and upload new build. Nah. Just change your pieces. That's gonna be fast myself.
Are you sure though? I think it would be very interesting let's just do some design live, you know? Let's do that.
If you want to design a video game, I will happily teach you how to make a simple game in my engine of choice. I'll guide you through it, and we can make a puzzle game together.
You know, you are the second dev I've ever had make that same offer. Apparently people think I should get into game design. I'm not sure why.
Oh, I just think it would be fun.
Huh, well I
actually already talked Pengi into doing it. And we're gonna be making Sokobos game together with penguins, of course.
Oh, of course with penguins. It has to be with penguins.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I'd be up to make different game with you. And you know, I can always let you prototype it, come up with the idea, and then I refine it and make a commercial game out of it and sell it for $60 and get rich of your hard work.
Yeah, we just ignore the bots. So this one rotates.
It's like playing Team Fortress 2. The bots are here.
I might need to undo, but I want to see. Okay, so how does that flip it? So it's like this, and then it becomes. So it's like that, and then it becomes that. Okay, that's not the correct option.
It works. It's 90 degrees basically. 90.
Unless, can I do this? I can.
Of course. Yeah. Nice. Okay, well, time for something a bit harder.
Why?
Well, sometimes when a child is not loved enough, it becomes an evil person in adult life.
Oh, my poor brain.
My father didn't love me, so now I make horrible games to hurt people.
That is a great sound. You know what? We're gonna use my nice little trick. Oh, that's even worse.
You might not want to skip any more levels, Sel. I think you.
That's even worse. I am controlling. Therefore,
And this one is not so bad. I promise. Don't do that.
How do they get increasingly worse?
Well, you're getting into the second half of the game. What do you want?
This makes me want to skip all the way back to the final level and just do that one. That final level is amazing.
I'm sure there will be a level you will find acceptable. Yeah, thank you, Tango. So that sound is a Greek horn, whatever that is. I just wrote Greek into free sound, and this was like the only sound that I think I wrote Greek instrument. This was the only sound that came out. I really liked it, and that's why I used it. So if you think there's some kind of sophisticated research or creation of that sound, nope. I just wrote Google random thing into a search bar.
What on?
A pan flute. It's called Greek horn. I'm not sure what that is exactly. I assume it's some kind of horn that was used in Greece.
This is quite the puzzle.
I was told this is a very devious and evil puzzle, so...
Why do they get increasingly evil and devious? No, I do not approve.
Does this level not get Cel's official seal of approval?
No, this is evil and torturous.
This one is pretty evil, I will admit.
No.
I think this one might take around one... Well, I want to say it might take around 1,000 moves, but I know that fan of mine, my friend, beat it in like 500 or something. I will actually check in how little moves he beat this level.
Oh no.
Just for you.
Just for me. Make me feel worse about it.
Well, not feel worse about it, but just Just so you don't feel it's as bad as you might think. Oh, wait, why can't I can't access the... Well, I can't access it through Steam Store page, but you know what? I can go into the back end. I can look into my game developer Steam cool top secret stuff and I can check there. Are you trying to process how you're gonna try to beat this level at the moment?
No, I'm not looking at it. I am ignoring its existence.
So he beat it in 416 moves. Wow.
Oh.
The second place is 500 moves. And my personal best is 1090. So yeah, it took me like 1000 moves to beat this level. Would you like to skip this one and see what's the next exciting feature?
The way you sold that makes me think it's a less exciting feature, but let's see. Oh!
This level is not like super easy, but it'll be fine. I believe in you.
Oh, so now we're moving 2 pieces as 1. Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
It's like the vase, but on steroids.
No kidding. Well, let's see. This one obviously goes down there.
Also, I agree, Tan. The sound, it does sound a bit phony. It sounds like the person ran out of breath while he was playing the instrument. So it's kind of it's like oh gotta finish playing the flute or whatever.
I think I have messed up already.
But I think it kind of fits. It's kind of victorious, but at the same time not, which I think is kind of fitting of the game, considering that a great tragedy is gonna strike.
Oh yeah, my chat got spoiled on that. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
I predicted it. I didn't say anything.
Well, I feel like I know a lot of people are surprised by it, and I'm just like, what? It's a Greek tragedy, isn't that like it's like totally foreshadowed, right?
Yeah, it was very expected.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just proceed to rapidly skip straight through it. Just like, okay, that's a thing. Anyways, on we go to the next puzzle.
You are stuck already.
Am I?
Yeah, you can't move that wood frame, and you can't move the piece.
Can I?
Yeah. Nope.
Sir, why?
For what it's worth, I think you're doing great. You know, playing this game is not an easy task, and you literally made it through half of the game in a row, while having to listen to whatever I'm saying, which you know can be quite mentally exhausting in itself. So I think your performance is absolutely great. So I can't remember how to solve this exactly, but what you want to do is basically try to avoid getting the wood frame stuck so you can't move it anymore. So at the moment, don't push it like completely up or down, and try to wiggle the other pieces out of there.
Oh boy. Okay.
I wasn't paying attention to the story when. Oh yeah, Tan is asking if character has some kind of flaw. You know, it's funny. So when I was coming with this story, right? Like, I spend most of history classes and most of literature classes not paying attention. But my understanding of Greek tragedies is that humans have flaws. Humans do stupid things trying to prevent tragedies, which end up causing more tragedies. And also, gods are just like humans, just more powerful. And like, my personal opinion is that our main character here has quite a flaw, which is that he's stubborn and he's very ambitious. And instead of being with his family and trying to make the best out of things, he decided to put his family aside and take an oath to questionable gods that are for themselves. And yeah, I would say it comes back and bites him in the butt. That said, if he didn't do any of it, this game would never happen. So let's thank him for, screwing up. So I have a story in my game. But yeah, coming with the story was quite fun, because I was constantly asking myself, like, how can I make this tragic, right? Well, the character someone needs to mess up, so something bad happens, right? What is the tragic thing that's gonna happen? Why is it gonna be tragic? And yeah, it's kind of, I wouldn't say like this game has like a single person who's like the bad guy, because like Aeschylus, whatever, messes up, right? He decides to do better. He puts his family aside. Then some bad stuff happens, and then he tries to fix things by being dishonest. And yeah, it ends up biting him in the butt even further. I wouldn't say like he's a bad person. He's just a flawed person that made some horrible choices. That's some advanced developer internal Sokobos lore. I'm not sure if it will help sell, but if you push that wood frame, not anymore. But you don't need to do it, so maybe it's fine. But what I was thinking is that you push that wood frame down a bit, one down. Then you push the piece next to you, so you can walk through. One more time. Push it one more time to left. There. And now try pushing the wood frame into the middle, where the floor is. And I wonder, push, now I think you can push it down, and I'm not sure, but I think it might help, but I'm not 100% sure.
You can move them sideways.
Of course! Of course you can!
Oh, welcome to Cells Brain Cells have all signed off for the day.
I don't blame you like this. This game is mentally exhausting.
Brain cells? What are brain cells?
Not anymore. They aren't. Nope.
Okay. Well, we're gonna restart now that I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I restart? This is a fresh, new torture that I have somehow decided to foist upon myself. But it's fine.
Yeah, then that's like some of the Greek tragedies I like remember vividly. It's like someone is told, "Oh, bad stuff is gonna happen to you," and they try to prevent it, and by actually trying to prevent it, like the bad stuff happens, or it gets worse. And you can see elements of that in Sokobos, right? So like, why are we building the temple? Well, Aeschylus' father town is not prospering, right? He wants to fix that. So what does he do? Well, he goes to the oracle, he speaks to the gods, and he takes an oath that has very strict rules to make the situation better. And one of the rules get broken, and there's consequences for that. And if he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go to the gods, we'll just try to resolve things differently. Well, things might work out. Probably. They probably would work out much better.
Probably.
I mean, maybe the town wouldn't maybe the town would end up getting worse, but I'm pretty sure this overall, like, there's much higher chance the story would have a happy ending. Let's say this is like ancient Greece, right? So maybe he would like get super serious sickness and he would die like next year. So you never know. Interesting. I don't think I ever saw someone try to solve this level this way.
I have a feeling the solution is not going to work, as I proceed to quickly back up for a second and go like that.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't. There's like a specific thing you have to do to solve this level, and I forgot what it is.
Yeah, I'm trapped already.
Also, feel free to skip this one. I do believe the next one is easier. This is quite the mean first level with this new mechanic.
How rude of you to do a mean first level.
Yeah, this is like the first. This is like the only time I break my rule of have like the first easy level. At the same time, it's halfway through the game, so like, it's fine.
Player brains are already mush at this point.
Yeah.
Somehow this is easier, but also not easier at the same time. Oh, game. Well, that was weird. Oh. I wasn't on WASD, that's why I wasn't moving.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I was worried. I was worried. I was worried my game is breaking for you again. That would make me sad.
I mean, I am a professional game breaker. That is kind of what I do.
True. Well, so far you only broke my Steam achievements. Well, my Steam. Well, it's not even mine. Someone else made it, but I'm using it. But so far you only broke Steam integration in my game, which I think I should feel proud of if you are the game breaker.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to break, but yeah. It's what's broken.
Well, my friend programmed it, so it's his fault, not mine. So my hands are clean.
Blame the friend, yes.
Yes.
I am stuck. So rather than going that way, let's go this way. There we go. Except we are stuck again. Restart. You say this is easier. I don't think I believe you.
I have much easier time solving this level personally. But, could be wrong.
Mileage may vary.
The game doesn't really get much harder. Oh yeah, you know what? I remembered something that you were surprised about in your stream. So when you skip to the final level, you notice that the game is using only the very base mechanic.
Oh yeah.
It's not using paint puddles or stuff like that. So there's this thing I do in my games. Well, I mean, there's multiple reasons for it, but like one thing, the final level, it ends up being difficult, but like that final level is like very thematic for me in my mind. So that level is like about finishing the last room in the temple, right? And I wanted it to be like grand and huge and large. So I wanted there to be like a lot of parts you have to move and stuff like that. And the more parts you have in the level, in a certain sense, you can limit yourself because there's only so much space you have in level. So if I wanted to include multiple mechanics, I wouldn't have enough space. So I would actually have to make like the levels smaller scope or not have as many things in it. But also, one thing that I do in Sokobos. So the new mechanics are introduced until level 36. So there is like a structure to how the levels are made, right? So there's like the tutorial level, except the last one. There's like the level that combines mechanics that haven't been combined before, and then there's like the super tough level that like tests your mastery and understanding of them. And once all the mechanics are introduced and all of this is like done, that's where I stopped like using like rules for making the levels, and I was like, okay, I have shown all the mechanics to the player. The player has proven to me that he or she or they have mastered the mechanics. Let's go all out and let's make levels that are like unique, specific in their own way, without like having a checklist of what kind of puzzle elements they should contain. So I just sat down and I made 20 last levels, and I was like, how can I make this level like unique or gimmicky? And it actually worked out great, because generally the response seems to be that most of like the favorite levels that people have come from those last 20 levels. So that's a very long answer as to why that last level and many levels before that don't use like all the game mechanics that you have seen so far.
It is a very interesting... Sorry, brain is processing moves here.
No problem.
I'm still stuck.
No, wait. Yeah, I think you have to restart. Finally, this is one of those levels where I was like, nah, it's too easy. Let's make it harder.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, you had way more space, so like it was actually much easier to solve the puzzle.
Unless we do that, move that around, that. Oh, okay, that's idea. Maybe, no. No, oh, that's an idea. Okay, up.
Huh. I wonder if that's gonna work. I don't think I ever saw anyone play it like this. But I think you might...
It gets it out of the way.
Are you...
Well, that's going to work is a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, you're a genius. Oh, wow. I never saw anyone saw it. Wow. Wow. I have so much respect for you. You don't even know. This is amazing. Wow. Great job.
And with that, you know, set level of surprise and success, I'm going to say we should stop there, because I don't think I'll top that.
No. Nah, you could, but I've been alive for a while, and I think your brain deserves recovery time.
Yeah. End on a win. Yes, let's end on the win for sure. Let's return back to the main menu. I see there's moving things. That's a no thank you. Nope. We'll pass on that.
Yeah. Quit while you're at your peak. Don't go through the downfall.
Yes, I have already.
At least not
on the
stream.
I've surprised the dev.
Yes.
With a brilliant move, and now let's quit before I make him sad with my lack of big brain.
Oh, I wouldn't be sad. I'd be amused.